Happy Friday, everyone. Today we're doing the Battle of Yorktown. This is going to be the last battle, the final battle, which is part of obviously why it's going to be significant. So, we're going to explain the issues that surround the Battle of Yorktown and also talk about the Treaty of Paris. So, let's go ahead and get started. So far, let's go where are we at right now? So we've had the Battle of Lexington and Concord, which starts the American Revolution. Continental Congress asked Thomas Jefferson to write the Declaration of Independence, and he was like, "Okay, I've got this." Jefferson completes it on July 4th, 1776, or it is completed. Um, Thomas Jefferson writes about unalienable rights and grievances, which he gets those ideas from John Locke, who said, "Lock in, your unalienable rights." And then the grievances are all the things that I hate you because complaints from the colonists. Um, the colonists are basically major losers throughout the American Revolution until they get to the Battle of Saratoga. It is always a big deal if you win a 3-week battle versus a 20-minute battle. So colonists and the Continental Army win an extremely difficult battle, and we know that's Saratoga because we did that yesterday. And as a result, France also says, "Hey, I will join y'all because y'all don't completely suck at this." Nobody is going to, France is not going to say, "Oh, colonists, y'all are complete losers, but we'll sacrifice our men and money to help you in something you'll probably never win." No, that was the thing. They weren't going to do that. The colonists had to pull through and show that they could do big things, and Saratoga was what did that. So France said, "You know what? I'll send you some money. I'll send you men. I'll send you weapons. And I'm going to help you gain some independence from Great Britain." Okay, so that's where we are right now. Reminder, there are hundreds of battles in the American Revolution. I've only taught you about 3. So that means that these are really, really important. So yeah, let's keep going. Talking like a historian, treaty is a fancy word for agreement. So when you see that, don't let it bother you. Of course, they're very popular to be signed an agreement after war because if you win a war, you won it in writing. I would like you to write down that I'm the winner and you are the loser, and this is what I get. Please sign here. So treaties are a big deal. Sovereign means having all the power. So when you see that word, don't let it bother you. It means having all the power. Again, a big thing. We do this all the time in face-to-face classes. We're reading something, I make them cross it out. So they have to cross out certain words and put it in simpler terms. It helps our comprehension. Even if you know the word, when you read a sentence, it doesn't mean you understand it. Okay, so here's on the way to our assignment. You click on it, it'll force you to make a copy. And here we go. You're going to notice that this reading is pretty short. So we're going to let this slowly load here. Hello, come on. You can do it. Let me refresh and see if that helps. Well, or I'm going to try again. Here we go. All right. So I'm going to zoom in, of course, so I can see Battle of Yorktown. We're going to simply read this right here. The Battle of Yorktown was the last battle of the American Revolution. The battle took place on October 9th, 1781. The battlefield was located in Yorktown, Virginia. The Battle of Yorktown ended in victory for the American colonists. General George Washington, his armies, the founding fathers, and the colonists were proud of this victory. The British General Cornwallis and the troops had finally surrendered. The battle concluded the American Revolution and secured independence for the colonists. Later, the colonists would get this victory in writing with the signing of the Treaty of Paris. So, what did we just read? I do want you to pay attention. I don't make you memorize a lot of dates, but the Declaration of Independence was signed on 1776. This battle wasn't until 1781. So I hope you notice that yeah, the Declaration of Independence, we're not independent that day. So next time you blow stuff up, just say we're blowing stuff up because we were excited that we were brave enough to ask or declare independence. But we're not really independent until the Treaty of Paris. So we get it in writing and we win the battle. We win the war, I mean. Okay, so we read that. Why is the Battle of Yorktown significant? You'll write that right here. Now let's make some dead people talk. The right side of this text message over here in green is General Cornwallis. He's the equivalent to George Washington, but on the British side. So if your highest person in all of military surrenders, you know it's over. There's captains. There's in some battles that those people will surrender, but and or sometimes everyone just gets away. But if your highest person, your general, surrenders, that means it's over for sure. So here is General Cornwallis, and then here's General George Washington, and we're going to make these dead guys talk. So it says, George, I don't think I will be able to defeat you at the Battle of blank. And then George Washington texts back and says, I think I blank the Battle of Yorktown and the blank war. So he thinks that he won or lost the Battle of Yorktown. And what war does he think he won? What's the name of the war we're in? Now Cornwallis says, what should I do now? Which he really doesn't say that, but. And then George says, Cornwallis, you should. Well, what does he do? Look at your reading. What does he do? And then Cornwallis will say, fine, I will. I feel blank because, okay, now let's have fun. Pretend you're General Cornwallis and you're the loser. How do you feel about it and why? And then George says, I'm excited about my victory because what does this victory at Yorktown mean for the entire 13 colonies? All right, so you're going to type that in, make those dead men talk. And then we're going to move on to the Treaty of Paris. This is where they get it in writing. So this is pieces of the actual treaty that these people wrote. It's called the Treaty of Paris. This is our second Treaty of Paris, actually. It was written in Paris. That's where they met. I mean, that's the fanciest of it. And it's not written until 1783, like 2 years later. But yes, you're going to have to read something extremely difficult that's going to be hard for you to read. But then down here is the summary bank where you're going to try and put it in simpler terms, just like we did for the Declaration. This is what we do for things that are really difficult to read. We try and work through it and figure out what it says. So, for example, the preamble, the introduction to the Treaty of Paris says, if having pleased the divine providence that George III, King of Great Britain and the United States of America, to forget all past misunderstandings and to establish a beneficial relationship between the two countries, that the king should be ready to conclude such treaty accordingly. FYI, so Great Britain's like, we're going to go ahead and forget all these misunderstandings. Oh, you didn't mean to tax us. You didn't mean to do the proclamation of line. You didn't mean to make us follow mercantilism. Oh, it was a misunderstanding for the intolerable acts. Please, you're just saying that now that we beat you in war. So we're reading that, and then we're going to go down here and figure out what is that in simpler terms. And I'm going to have to just copy it from here and type it. There's only three things you have to read. Then you have to read Article 1, which is right here. And then Article 7. That means I am skipping 5 and 8. So again, I am reading Preamble, Article 1, Article 7. Preamble, Article 1, Article 7. So you might want to read them all at once. Read your answers and say, okay, so based on all of these, both countries will stop fighting each other and all British soldiers will go back to Great Britain. Let's forget the past and be friends that help each other out. Great Britain will treat the former colonies as the United States and give up trying to control them. Maybe I'm still not sure. I will read Article 1 and 8, or I'm sorry, Article 1 and 7, and then really work through which of these am I going to type here that's going to fit best. Then you are going to tell me with your own words, what is the significance, the importance of the Treaty of Paris? That should be pretty straightforward. What is the significance? Why talk about the Treaty of Paris? What does it put in writing? What does it officially make sure there is an end of what? And it officially in writing gives independence to who? It's a pretty important document. Okay, so we're going to go to what I think is the most important part right here, which is helping you helping you understand the difference between the Battle of Saratoga and Yorktown. My number one thing that students do, number one, is make a mistake. So if you would like to pause this right now and go complete your assignment while it's fresh in your mind, you could go do that. Okay. So here's what my students do. They confuse the Battle of Saratoga and Yorktown. You just learned about Yorktown. Yesterday, you learned about Saratoga. Please, 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 when you're reading something, don't let that be you. So here's what you're going to do to help you. So here are all facts about both battles. You're going to drag the facts in there. Here's what you're going to notice. Okay, battle victories here and there. Why would there be two? Because both are a battle victory. So I would say, okay, so they won. It was a victory at Saratoga, right? They won that hard battle. It was a victory at the Battle of Yorktown. So the difference with the Battle of Yorktown is not only was it a battle victory, it was also a what? It was a war victory. That is a key difference there. I will tell you on both of them, why would there be two of these? That's because soldiers did surrender at the Battle of Saratoga. Just because soldiers surrender does not mean that you won the war. Some you'll take prisoners of war. You'll try and take some for like other soldiers for like information. So don't let that confuse you. That both are a battle victory. Both had it where soldiers surrendered. Okay, so when I read something, if it says, oh, soldiers surrendered, it does not mean it's Saratoga or Yorktown. You have to look for something else because this is both. Maybe it says it's a war victory or something great like that. Then you would know it's Yorktown. So here's these other ones. Okay, I want to see you put these in the right spot. This is crucial. So I'm going to be looking at this. I want to see that's perfect. This is going to be uh this is like the most important part of this, because if I give you one sentence about the Battle of Saratoga or Yorktown and it says soldiers surrender, uh-oh, you still don't know, so you're looking for something else in that sentence that tells you which battle this would be. Okay. All right, guys, when you're done with all of that, just make sure you attach your assignment. And guess what? That is all I'm teaching you for the American Revolution. It's over. And the colonists are officially the United States of America.